It rolling. We're getting it rolling. Here we go on a Thursday afternoon / morning. Matt Modi joining me on a Nrfi Fest. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. I feel like it's been a while since we've done one
know.
of these because I was on vacation for a couple of weeks, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, it sounded like you had a great time. We're happy to have you back. One of our favorites. We had usually Tommy V jumps on with us, but he's still licking his wounds from getting his ass whooped yesterday on Battle Bets Royale.
By the Hulk. He just hasn't been able to recover.
I mean, America's finest. Hulk Hogan just came through with a big win. I got to say, that was actually, not only was it like a ton of fun, but it was so nerve-wracking. Like, you've done Battle Bets before. You've won a Battle Bets tournament before too.
No big deal.
Like, you've been in the seat. I got to tell you, Matt, like, this new format we did was so much more nerve-inducing. Like, because with every elimination, the tension just gets ratcheted up higher and higher and higher. Like, you're making moves to try to survive, as opposed to just like, all right, we'll see what happens at the end of 30 minutes. I really loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
We'll have to definitely do it again with some more folks. So here's kind of the plan. We've got a ton of baseball. We've got 5 mid-afternoon starts, one of which is about to start in 4 minutes. That's between the Braves and D-backs. We've got Matt here for about 45 minutes or so. Then he's got to jump. And then we're going to have Jared Smith from VSiN, who's currently doing another show. He's going to come on our show, and we'll do the last two Yrfi Nrfis of the afternoon slate. If you follow Jared, he's the Yrfi Nrfi king, posting all of his tracked bets all the time over at VSiN. So we're excited to talk to him. Of course, we're excited to talk to Matt too. Matt, let's kind of jump in with some Philly stuff real quick, because the Phillies are the second game to start. Bryce Harper playing first base. He's never done it. The Phillies have World Series aspirations. What are your thoughts?
Well, I was into the idea. I think what makes me a little nervous is they keep pushing it back, which kind of makes you think that, like, it was a good idea in theory, and then they kept trying to do it in practice, and it didn't work out. Like, he's struggling, or he's not comfortable, or whatever it may be. I kind of understand the rationale, because it opens up a ton. Like, you put Bryce at first, you put Schwarber to the DH, and it just like opens up everything. You can do a lot in terms of like flexibility at the trade deadline. You could do a lot of flexibility with the lineups. Like, the Phillies first base has just been snake bitten. Like, Reese went down, and then they put Bohm there, and then
Derek Hall got hurt.
Derek Hall went down. Yeah. So I understand why they're trying to do it, and I kind of trust Bryce to be able to be successful at it. But the fact that they keep pushing it back, like it was supposed to be this past weekend, now it might not even be this weekend. That's when you get a little bit nervous, because you're like, all right, well, like, what's going to change in the 7 days or the 10 days or whatever?
I just don't know. Like, a team with real World Series aspirations, a team that went to the World Series last year and lost somewhat in part because they had holes in their lineup and bad defense.
Yeah, I mean,
I just can't imagine them throwing a guy out there who's never played before and saying, all right, let's go win a World Series.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And for a team with a $300 million payroll, like, you can't possibly cover every single position. I get that, especially with salaries. But to me, it just seems outlandish. Like, if they don't trade for Paul Goldschmidt, like yesterday, I don't know what they're doing. He's fourth fewest errors in the NL from first base. He has the third best fielding percentage. He's having a down year and hitting 290. Like, he's a right-handed guy with pop, and he's only signed through next year. So Reese is gone after this year, and then Goldschmidt's your first baseman next year, and then you figure it out after that. I mean, I'm just playing, armchair GM here, but
armchair GM. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think what the calculus is Schwarber at left field plus Goldschmidt at first better than Bryce at first plus maybe a Juan Soto at left field.
You're not getting, just ridiculous. All this this WIP bullshit.
Yeah, maybe a Shohei Ohtani can. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, hey, Spencer Strider is on the hill, so let's run through the picks real quick. I'm on the Yrfi here, Matt. I believe you are as well.
That's
at
correct.
-106 on Sport Trade. This is the Diamondbacks against the Braves. I'll run through the numbers real quick. Zach Gallen against Spencer Strider. It's a great matchup on paper. Gallen in first innings this year, 20 innings, 17 hits, 4 earned, 23 strikeouts, but he's on the road. And if you've been paying attention to Gallen, South Jersey's finest, he is sucked on the road. Here are his splits. At home, 9-0, 1.48 ERA, a batting average against under 200. He's just allowed 11 earned runs this year. On the road, 2-4, 5.13 ERA, a batting average against 265, 32 earned runs. And hitters are hitting, there's only 9 innings of difference between those two number sets. So he's been terrible. He's pitched against the Braves once this year, 6 innings, 3 runs on 9 hits. Strider, interestingly enough, has also been worse at home. He's been shut out, lights out on the road, but at home he's been really bad. 4-2 with a 4.33 ERA. He's allowed 28 runs in 58 innings compared to 17 runs in 52 innings. So I'm overstating it a bit. He just hasn't been nearly as good away from their home turf as opposed to there's nobody there for a 12 o'clock start in Atlanta.
You hate to see that.
Yeah, sure do. But he's been dealing his last 4 starts, Matt, 40 strikeouts, 4 walks.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that seems good.
Pretty good. The combined totals, which I like to do on the broadcast for these specifically, the Braves have scored at least 1 run in a first inning in 39 of 94 games. The D-backs 37 of 96 combined. 40% of the games feature a first inning run. So I'm on the Yrfi.
As am I. You pretty much said it best. The only thing that I like to look at is this: the Diamondbacks are the second most Yrfi friendly team in MLB. And the Braves are a little bit more in the middle of the pack, but at home specifically, they are 30 and 20 towards the Yrfi. So they're much more Yrfi friendly at home. Also, shameless plug, I have Matt Olson as a potential dong watch today. So if he can possibly get one in the first inning, then that would just cash everything.
If we can get the dongs brewing, everyone would be in a much better place.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that for years now. And Tommy V saying this is a family website. We talk about home runs and golf. I don't know where his mind was at, but he should really go to see a psychologist or something.
The guy lives in a male brothel out in Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't know if you saw his video counteracting my Hulk Hogan video.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I just saw his low cut shirt. I mean,
yeah, we talk about low cut. It was no cut shirt.
Yeah,
that freaking thing. He's a young whippersnapper. He tries to come back with witty retorts, but the fact of the matter is the old boy's been around the block. All right. And I don't take any guff from the young ones.
Yeah. Young single guy in Vegas.
Well, I mean, he looks like he's living the fucking life. I'll tell you that right now. Based upon that short video, looks like he's living the life. He's been bragging about doing shows from his hot tub. He hasn't done them. I hope he's watching and he's like, I know I'm like living rent free in Dan's head. He's talking about me again. Ground out here from Perdomo. So 1 out here. We've dropped $4.50. We'll be fine. We'll bounce back. The next game. No, go ahead.
Well, no, I was gonna change the subject. So if we want to run through picks in the next game, then we can go get into some nonsense.
Cool. The next game, our beloved Philadelphia Phillies against the Milwaukee Brewers, my formerly beloved Milwaukee Brewers. The price here, the Yrfi is -115. The Nrfi is +100. I'll tell you the reasoning before the pick. We'll start with Corbin Burnes, who's on the mound today for Milwaukee. First inning, his worst inning. In 19 first innings, he's allowed 16 hits, 11 earned. He's walked 11. Opponents are hitting .229 against him. Righties, interestingly enough, hitting 30 points higher against Burnes than lefties. He's a righty, so actually kind of weird. Yeah. And of course, the Phillies will throw out Schwarber, Turner, and Castellanos. So 2 righties and a power hitting lefty. On the other side, it's my least favorite Philly, Tawan Walker. But for some reason, I think he's not very good, but the Phillies seem to win every time he pitches. 7 straight wins in Walker starts, 9 of his last 10. But in 19 first innings, it's his highest ERA per inning. Not that really matters, to be quite honest. 247 batting average against, 18 hits, 12 earned, 11 walks, 2 home runs. Interestingly enough, in day games, Burnes has been really bad. In 34 innings of day games, he's allowed 29 hits and 20 runs, and he's walked 15 guys. So short turnaround today for both these teams. I don't expect Burnes to be all that good. In terms of the totals, Brewers have scored in 31 of 96 first innings, Phillies 28 of 95 combined. That's 30% of games. Having said all that, this market again, Yrfi -115, Nrfi plus or even money. Sorry, Spanky. And I'm going to go ahead, and it's a lot, but I think the Yrfi will have it. I'm on the Yrfi.
Yeah, not to just agree with you, but I'm on the Yrfi on this one as well. What I thought was interesting is Corbin Burns is 13-6 overall towards the Nrfi, and Taiwan Walker is 7-1 specifically at home towards the Nrfi. But they both have an ERA above 5 in the first inning, which just means when they do get hit up in the first inning, they just get smoked. Like they don't let up 1, they let up 4. Which I remember that at Taiwan Walker was awful to begin the year. It's been much better. Another stat that I would not have guessed prior to looking into it is the Phillies, despite playing at a hitter's park, are actually significantly more Nrfi friendly at home. They're 31-20 on the road towards the Yrfi. They're only 21-23 at home, which I thought was weird. But either way, I'm still on the Yrfi. I feel like the Phillies, they've been on fire recently. Aside taking out yesterday, not all of that is the bats, but you also will get the Schwarber first inning, first pitch home run, which is like my favorite thing in the world when he does the first pitch home run. So I'm on the Yrfi on this one as well.
The other day he hit a home run so fast that the TV broadcast hadn't even gone to the field yet. Like the announcers were still doing their game setup, and they eventually had to cut to Schwarber rounding first. They were like, "Oh, by the way, he already had a home run." It was crazy. It was crazy. Elsewhere, right now, Strider's got 2 outs on Corbin Carroll. I should say Corbin Carroll, full count on Corbin Carroll, but there are 2 outs here in the top of the first. So we're going to need the Braves' vaunted lineup to get after South Jersey's finest Zach Gallen here in the bottom half, most likely.
I don't know. He was a South Jersey guy.
I think he's from Medford. Let me get stats and info on that real quick. I'm fairly certain.
Google.com.
Yeah. Somerdale, New Jersey. I don't know where that is. I've been told it's in South Jersey. Not a Jersey native.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you. Two non-Jersey guys here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not even from Philly. I'm from Maryland, but I identify as a Philadelphian.
Well, you can do that these days. Okay. Spencer Strider strikes out Corbin Carroll. So now we're going to the bottom half of the first.
You're getting a phone call, by the way.
I am, from my wife. She's going to have to wait.
Wifey or Joanna Koob, in case you're not sure which one, who wifey is.
Sorry, Joe. You'll have to wait. I'll call you back. Why don't I just go ahead and do one of these numbers here? Okay. There we go. So we're down 1450. Heading into the next one. So
getting through the first, it's always interesting to see how much like 1 strike, 1 out makes the pricing change.
Yeah.
Like what it opened up. You got it at 53, is what, 51?
Yeah, 51. So minus 106.
So 1/2 inning down to 36.50, down 14.50. It's always interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some wild price swings. I mean, we've seen singles that have been worth like $20 in this market. Now, it probably doesn't make sense to trade in and out because it's so fast and so volatile. But, you know, if somebody hits a double in the first inning, it may be worth it to get out of it if you're on the Yrfi. So we're on 2 Yrfis to start. One of them's not off to the best start, but we've got Giants and Reds at 1235. The market there, Matt, is the Yrfi's at minus 106, the Nrfi at minus 108. Why don't you go instead of me just blasting the research? Why don't you tell me what you're on?
Yeah, I am actually on the Nrfi in this one, which I feel like is a little bit of a zag because Great American, you like to call it small park.
Sure
about as juicy weather as it gets for home runs and for runs in general. But 2 really good pitchers. We got Koob on the mound for the Giants, and we got Andrew Abbott on the mound for the Reds. Now, admittedly, not both of them aren't necessarily lights out specifically in the first. Abbott's 5-3 overall, but he's only 2-2 at home. Excuse me. And Koob is 11-6, and then the Reds are the most common Yrfi team in the major leagues, which is not surprising at all considering where they play. And they don't really have great pitchers outside of like this rookie, but it was plus 100 sprinkle on the Nrfi. So it's one of those things where you kind of just, you're zagging where everybody else is going to zig like you are. So for plus 106 is where I got it on DraftKings. I'll take it.
So I'm on the Yrfi, so we're heads up here. To some of your points, Koob has really struggled in the first inning. He's got 17 first innings this season, 21 hits, 13 runs, and 7 walks. But he does keep the ball in play. He's only allowed 1 home run in first innings. But lefties have really been able to hit him hard. 54 hits in 44 2/3 innings against lefties. They're nearly hitting 300 against him, and he's allowed 11 earned runs specifically to lefties. What's interesting about that is Cincy 5 games ago Instead of hitting Ellie De La Cruz fourth, they moved him to leadoff. So they put the most electric hitter, getting the most at bats possible. Power from the left side, power from the right side. He's a switch guy, so he's going to hit lefty today. Followed by Friedel and then Steer, who's a lefty righty. So I like that angle. Abbott in first innings, his opponents are hitting .313 against him, 10 hits, 4 runs, and he's allowed 2 dingers as well. Excuse me, 2 dongs.
Yeah, if it was a dinger, I was just pretending that I knew what you were talking about.
Two long dongs he's allowed. So I'm on the Yrfi there. Again, that's -106. The Nrfi is -108. These are sport trade prices. Matt is getting some different and at times slightly better prices elsewhere. Tell the doggos we said hello.
I was going to say, hopefully you can't hear them in the background.
That's okay. Hey, we're a very pro dog show here. Quick 2 outs here for the Braves.
I know,
4 pitches.
2 flyouts too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dog, she doesn't like it when the doors are closed because she can't go in and say hi to everybody.
Sure, right.
Sometimes.
She's allowed to. Look, if Nrfi Koob could come say hello, she would. Right?
A lot of times you'll see her napping on the couch back there, but I closed my office and now she's not happy with herself.
Tom, you can't see this, it's on the local cast, but Tom McCarthy and John Kruk are wearing Fanatic polos, and they just look horrible. I mean, they look like they have lesions.
I was watching the game.
Green lesions.
I was watching the game on either Monday or Tuesday, and they were talking about how they're like a new dumpling place had just opened up at the ballpark, and I'm a big dumpling guy over here, and they were eating them on the broadcast, and I was like, well, man, I got to make it to Citizens Bank solely for these dumplings.
I don't remember that at all.
It was obviously, I think it was game 1 against the Brewers. So I guess that would have been what, Tuesday? Because were they off on Monday?
They were off on Monday.
Yeah, Monday's a travel day. So yeah, it would have been Tuesday. Some good looking dumplings, I got to say.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're 0 for 1. The Yrfi is not cashed here. D-backs and Braves. So we'll put a big X through that one. So 0-1 on the day. I can't remember what my overall record is, but it's not good. So we move on. We're about 2 minutes away from Tawan Walker throwing first pitch down in South Philly, not far from where we are, actually. We went to try to go do some men on the street interviews the other day, just about like generic odds stuff, right? Like kind of trying to teach the folks about odds.
In downtown Philly?
No, just down in by the stadium.
Oh.
There's nobody there. We were there 2.5 hours before pitch, and nobody there.
That's like
Xfinity was empty. We walked up to a group of tailgaters, and they were like 12.
Tell us about odds, kids.
Yeah, well, I was like, none of you were 21 or even 18 probably. And one of them who had braces was like, no, I'm definitely 21. And I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not that you can't have braces and be, over 21. But
yeah.
Wasn't a convincing argument. We're down. The market not liking our Yrfi here. We've lost 50 cents. So it's now available at -113. We got it at -115. That's
all right.
Not the way we wanted to go for the CLV crowd.
As Slop famously said, you've never won a bet because of good CLV.
That's very true.
It's true. Yeah, it's
very true.
You only say that when you have negative CLV. Yeah, when you lose.
Yeah,
but technically is an accurate statement.
We're gonna have some good news for Slop here pretty soon. I haven't talked to Slop in some time, but we'll have some good news for him pretty shortly. Strider out for his second inning of work. Not that we care anymore. So let's flip this over to San Fran and Cincy.
Is that which one's starting first? Are they at the same time?
It's a good question. They're supposed to start at the same time, but fortunately, I have 2 television screens.
Look at you.
Hey, it pays to work at a place that values live streaming. 12:35 on both. So we're a minute away from both. We'll have dual Yrfis going. Well, you're on the Nrfi in the second game, right?
I'm on. Yeah. So that's when we're opposite on. Yeah, I could pull up the Phillies game. I have MLB TV.
Sure. As do we. So we ran through all those, and then 1 o'clock starts. We've got Padres Blue Jays at 107, which could be a real dong fest. White Sox Mets at 110.
I don't have a play in the Padres Blue Jays one, but I got one let's see. Yeah, I got Matt Olson for the Braves, Francisco Alvarez for the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one I have, it's a later game, the Twins and the Mariners. I got one.
How many dongs per day are you prognosticating?
Well, I've been switching it up, just trying to see how things go. I started off, like when I first started doing this, was 1 per game. But
1 per game.
I realized doing 15 was too much research. So I quickly decided to do top 5.
You could say you bit off more than you could chew.
You can say that. You can say that. And so then I was like, okay, let me do top 5. But then I would fall in love with more than 5, and I would have trouble like dwindling it down to 5. So then I would max it out at 10. But then I realized that was too much, because you're really just like over 10 day really just hurts you deep in the soul. So for July, I've been trying to just do top 3. That doesn't work every day. One day I had 4, one day I had 6. Sunday, I famously had 4. I went 3 of 4. We just needed Mookie Betts to hit a home run to cash the 5 to win 1,900 parlay. That hurt. And every day this week I've done 3. So for July, we're doing a top 3 and seeing how that goes.
Okay. Good to know. Make sure if you're not following Matt already, go hit up Jedi Modi.
A lot of dong talk.
We're just waiting on a couple. Here we go. We're live. Reds and Giants. Oh, great first pitch pop-up to center field.
Great mullet if you're looking at the Phillies-Brewers game. A beautiful mullet that they just showed.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. It just keeps going. Keeps going thrilling.
Yeah.
Oh, my. And they're showing a split screen right now between that young man and Crucker from like the early 90s.
Yeah.
Wow, that's electric. I love that.
Electric. Yeah. That was a great looking. I mean, you got to love a good mullet.
That mullet was unbelievable. Unbelievable mullet.
But what I wanted to ask you earlier was, I'm curious. I feel like we haven't talked a lot about the birds, or like me and you specifically. So I'm curious, overall thoughts. The win totals at like 11.5, which you say, oh, they won 14 last year, but predicting 12 wins seems high. So I'm just curious on your thoughts.
Yeah, that's a tough number. Schedule's more difficult.
Schedule's brutal.
I'm a big believer in continuity and coaching staffs.
Me too.
Brian Johnson was there last year, but he wasn't calling plays. I thought Shane Steichen did such a good job calling plays. I'm not a believer, though, in the Cowboys. Like, I like Mike McCarthy. I covered McCarthy when he was with the Packers. Just don't think he's that innovative of a coach. I don't think Kellen Moore was the problem.
They scored too many points. That's what his issue was with Kellen Moore. They scored too much, and they put too much stress on their defense.
Yeah. Terrible job, Kellen Moore. Another fly out to left field there. So Abbott, 5 pitches as 2 out.
You scared me for a sec.
Yeah, sorry. Well, you're about to win that one. I'm already down 1250, getting crushed here. Sean Desai, though, I think is interesting. Like, the pedigree isn't there, but like, I can't stand Jonathan Gannon. Like, I just thought Gannon sucks. Like,
well, Gannon is like
talk about a guy who was propelled by the talent around him
and an easy schedule. And I mean,
and he's been such a dork since he left.
The guy is such a loser. He's such a loser. And they played 2 good quarterbacks all year. Dak Prescott put up 40, and Mahomes put up 38 in the Super Bowl. They scored every single drive in the second half. So
I don't think you're going to be able to rely on a big year from Nolan Smith. I don't think you're going to be able to rely on the same year from Hassan Reddick. Fletcher Cox is a year older. Can the older guys along the D line stay healthy? Now, they've only played in shorts, so I'm kind of like reserving my Jalen Carter opinions until we see something. But Jordan Davis has to get better. Everybody was kind of singing his praises last year. I thought he was fine. Now, I'm not a scout, right? I'm not grinding tape, but other than he has to do more than just eat space on first downs in order for them to be really good. I love Nakobe Dean. I don't know if he can play middle linebacker at his size. We'll see. I love him. Like, nothing would make me happier. So there's a lot of question marks, but to answer your question, this is the most roundabout way of answering a question. I think 11.5 is tough to get to. I think I'd look at the prices for 10.5 and just kind of make my decision that way, I think they may end up right at 11. I think 11-6 is like a division winning number, honestly.
Yeah, to me, it felt like a no touch. Like, I'm with you on the coaching staff stuff. I feel like, the downfall post Super Bowl was like the Doug Peterson. Obviously, it was the Carson Wentz knee thing, and he regressed. But also, they lost.
I think the building's stronger than that. I do. I think leadership at the quarterback position really matters. And I think they struck gold with Hurts. Now, I don't think he's the best quarterback, but I think he is a dude. Like, he is just a dude. And I was in the locker rooms when Carson Wentz was the quarterback, and it was such like a whatever atmosphere, honestly. Like, that dude just couldn't command a locker room. And I feel like people want to play with Jalen Hurts, and they didn't want to play with Carson Wentz for a variety of reasons.
Yeah. Do you think so? Were you in the locker room pre and post Super Bowl? Because I feel like
only post.
Okay, because I was going to say
the next year.
Okay, because prior to the injury, everybody was like saying how much they loved Wentz. He's a great guy. People loved playing for him, and it's like he mentally just broke when they won the Super Bowl without him. And then he physically also broke as well. But yeah, I mean that's true. I mean the biggest difference is like the last time they lost both their offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, so they didn't have a Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
And then also Wentz and Hurts. It's, if you're expecting Hurts to even be as good as he was last year, then it's a totally different thing.
Yeah. No, it's true. That's a tough number. Like I said, I'd be more interested in looking at division odds, everything like that. You could probably get a really good price right now on like shorting the Cowboys, I think. The Cowboys are always, like, for whatever reason, a very trendy pick because they see so much action. Like, their odds are always inflated. So once we put our divisional stuff up, I'd be really interested in that. Baseball real quick. Christian Yelich, a leadoff single off Walker.
Although, did he get thrown out?
They're reviewing it right now.
I didn't see the replay.
Being reviewed. But then Walker got a pop-up on the other side. Alex Cobb getting ready to throw to Ellie De La Cruz.
So it's bottom of the...
Yeah, bottom of the first between Giants and Reds. So while we're in a delay there, let's go back over that.
The Phillies one, didn't we lose 50 cents? Did we gain that back, or did we lose 50 cents on this one pregame?
The market has not moved yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a long review.
I think he's out.
I thought he kind of was too. Cobb gets a gift on the first pitch to De La Cruz. Let's see. Here's a better angle of it. Oh, he's out.
Yeah, he's out.
I think he's out. Yeah.
I think mine might be a couple seconds ahead of you.
Yeah, maybe. He looks like he's out. So let's see. That doesn't help me because I'm on Nrfi. But
yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm with you there.
So for the sake of my fandom, for the sake of making money, let's say he's safe. This is the longest baseball review I think I've seen this year. This is wild. I mean,
he's
at
out.
This point, just call him safe. Come on.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, the Nrfi can hit and the Phillies can still win. So we can have our cake and eat it too.
Yeah. 2-1.
Something happened in the Reds one?
They called him out. So there we go.
Did something happen in the Reds game? Because your price went up. Like,
it did.
Much better, much more favorable for you.
It did. So it's 3-1 to Ellie right now. So I could tell you in 2 seconds if this pitch gets rocketed. Let's see. Nope, he walked. So he walked De La Cruz, which means De La Cruz is going to take second.
Is he going to steal all three like he did last time? Not last time.
I hope so, man. He is electric.
He is. He got to be one of the most fun players in baseball.
For sure. Just flipping back over to Brewers and Phils right now. So now after the overturned call at first, 2 outs, nobody on for is it Adams?
I think it's Adames.
Adame. Yeah, I think you're right.
So when it says
regional sport,
volatile at the top right,
yeah.
So does that mean something's happening, or just means that the market itself is just volatile? Is it as simple as that?
It just means the market is resetting itself.
Okay.
I mean, something has happened, and the market maker is going in and repricing everything. So like, you can bet during that, but you have to put in what we call a limit order. So you can kind of name your price, and if the market maker reaches it, it'll get filled, but sometimes it doesn't. It's more like to protect the customer from, let's say you're like, oh, I want to sell, and something is selling for 85, and then something happens as you're trying to put the sell in, and now it's at 25. Like it's to protect you from losing that kind of money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see, Ellie going for second, and he's out.
Really? Wow.
I mean, he slid past the bag, so probably doesn't help.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
So
wow, I didn't even think that he could get thrown out.
I didn't either. I mean, it wasn't even that close.
Just got a bad jump.
Well, we're staring at 0-3 right down the gullet here. At least for me.
Yeah, you still got the half inning for the Phillies. Maybe they could do something. Assuming that Adames gets out.
Friedel's 2-1 here, 1 out. I mean, that crushed this bet.
It went from like 47 or 48 to
13.5. Yeah. Ellie getting thrown out, just crushed it. Friedel grounds out. So now we're 1 out away from going 0-2.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, some of us are going to go 0-2. Some of us will be just fine.
Yeah, we'll be 1-1.
Yeah. So we are on the precipice, Matt, of going to Colorado. I'm going to stay away from any dates, but I will tell you, yeah, you learn a couple things trying to launch these dates. But I will tell you that we are on the precipice of coming to Colorado, and Walker gets out of the inning, by the way, a little strikeout action. I can't wait to be in the Sunshine State.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, of course. And for you to be able to use it.
Yeah, that's the most exciting part.
Plays.
You guys, you got to get the team to come out to go to a Rockies game. I don't know if you've been to Coors Field. I feel like you have. You seem like a guy that's been to Coors Field.
You know, it's funny. I've been to Coors Field, but I saw like a Boulder County high school regional final there.
So you can't say you've seen the Rockies play, but you have been to Coors Field.
Well, I went there. So a friend of mine had like a job interview in like 2012. It's like we drove out there. He was doing his job interview, and I was like, I'll go take a tour of Coors Field. And then I was like, oh, a high school team's playing. I'll just sit here and watch it for a little bit. And then I felt weird that I had no attachment to anybody playing. So I left. But yeah. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Well, the view to the, like when you're sitting in the outfield to the mountains, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you guys come live to Colorado, hit me up. I got a couch. I got a guest room. I got 2 dogs that'll lick your face.
Oh, beautiful. Much better than the one that already does.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, it's exciting stuff. I'll be doing a big trip to Alaska in August. So hopefully when I come back, things will just be live and we can just get rolling.
That would be amazing. That's the hope for sure. Full count here to steer. Bottom first. This is like our real last gasp here. Giants and Reds. We're at 19.5. We need to get some sort of positive momentum. They're showing the De La Cruz dead to rights. Didn't even get to the bag before he got thrown out. It's a great play. It's a great throw. Guy has a howitzer.
The catcher was a catcher for the Giants.
Yeah.
Buster Posey? Not actually.
No, I don't think so. Benito Santiago, I think he was the pitcher. Well, we have a walk, Koob with a walk. So runner on. We've got life.
All right.
We've got life.
A chance.
Yeah, I have life.
Phillies are taking them out or taking the plate.
They're taking to the plate.
Yeah, that's how they phrase it. That's what they say.
Taking the plate right now. Showing Corbin Burns. Can I tell you, Rodon last night got some booze, etc., for like blowing kisses to Yankees fans after he gave up a ton of runs against the Angels.
Got smoked.
And I gotta say, not a flattering look in terms of how his uniform fits. I was like, this dude is so fat and out of shape. Which makes sense, right? Because he hasn't really played a lot this year. And like pitchers don't necessarily have to be in the best shape, to be honest. Not every pitcher is Spencer Strider.
Bartolo Colon.
Sure. Big sexy.
Yeah.
But I could not get over his muffin top flying over his belt. And I was like, Jesus, this guy has not seen an elliptical in years.
Yeah, I didn't see that. All I know is I had Ohtani to hit one yesterday and he didn't. And I was like, and Rodon got lit up, but no Ohtani dong, which was tough.
Sure. Trading has been halted here between Giants and Reds, so we're anxiously awaiting. Meanwhile, Schwarbs is up.
Home runner out.
Home runner out. Hopefully it's a home run. Give me one here, Fraley. Come on now. 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. It's a drive, and it's to right field where it's caught. Okay, so we're 0-2.
As Schwarber strikes out.
Oh, Jesus. This is bad news, Bears.
Baseball can really humble you.
Yeah, well, I'm feeling it right now.
Yeah.
So we're really 0-2 so far.
I just like to call it, it's just variance. It's bad variance.
Yeah, it's what I like to tell myself.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that's been a good variance has been our MLBI betting. We returned like 8.2% last month. It's pretty good.
8.2% is pretty good.
We'll take that every time.
Yeah.
We'll take that every time.
It's a pretty brutal strike call from the ump.
Yeah, against Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're 0-2, trending towards 0-3. It's 12:50 East Coast.
Although the trading stopped for this. Oh, well.
I must have gotten out. Oh, God. All right. Well, we're looking at 0-3. Our next set of games here, Blue Jays at 107. So that's in 16 minutes. Man, Turner just can't not swing. Like that wasn't a terrible pitch, but like the dude just loves the hack.
He's like he reminds me of Castellanos from last year. He just he's swinging at horrible pitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think
you're right.
Do you think Turner's also staying at Ben Simmons' old house and that's why he's having such a bad year?
Do you think they're in bunk beds?
Yeah,
him and Castellano.
Simo the Savage.
Yeah. I mean, Castellano has seemed to kind of straighten some things out here.
Oh, he's been probably their best, most consistent hitter this year.
He's been incredible. Kind of crazy.
I mean, he was awful last year.
Yeah. I mean, he's up to what, 14 home runs, I think now.
And he's like right around
probably hit like 25.
Yeah, 290. Wow. That was that's tough. You'll see it, but it was just the softest ground out you'll ever see.
Oh no. Oh.
That hurts.
0-3.
0-3 day.
We've got two more. We have two more.
Listen, that just means that you're one of the most due bettors on the planet.
Super due.
It's a great spot to be in.
Super due. I need it. I got a mortgage to pay. I'm joking. Don't gamble that much. All right, so we've got Padres, Blue Jays. I know you said you didn't have a play on either. Well, maybe you do. We have dongs, but you don't have a Yrfi Nrfi, right?
No. Well, to be honest, I didn't think I was going to be live for these.
That's true. I mean, you don't have to be. That's in another. Like I said, that's Padres, Blue Jays in 15 minutes.
I could do some research on the fly.
No, don't worry about it. I'll run you through mine, and then when Jared's able to hop on, we'll do the same probably with him. I'm on. Let's see. Now, typically this market is Yrfi minus 117, Nrfi plus 104. If I weren't on a live stream, I wouldn't play it. But I am on the Nrfi plus 104, and that's mostly just because of value. It's Blake Snell versus Chris Bassett. Obviously, this is juiced towards the Yrfi because these lineups are amazing. Yeah, Tatis Jr., Soto, Machado on one side, Springer, Bichette, Vlad Jr. on the other side. Snell's numbers, I think, are a little misleading. He's 6-7, but he's been really good in first innings, actually. In first innings, 15 hits in 19 innings. He's allowed just 6 earned runs, 7 walks. He's been great on the road as well. In 54 road innings, he's allowed 39 hits. For Toronto, not nearly as good. Bassett's been horrendous, actually, in first innings. 20 first innings, 19 hits, 16 earned runs, and 3 of them were long dongs.
Love that.
The team's combining to hit the Yrfi in just 29% of their games. Despite all that, I think this is just too much juice to the Yrfi minus 117. I think there is value at plus 104 on the Nrfi. Without looking elsewhere, again, these are sport trade prices. Matt has access to the other ones. So I'm on the Nrfi on this one more than anything, just to shake things up because I'm getting annihilated.
Yeah, you can't. I feel like it hasn't happened very often where the first 3 games, because day games always have a little bit more scoring, that they're all Nrfi. So that kind of makes me want to play the Yrfi in this one. A, just to keep fading you, making money, and B, there's no way that's going to keep up. That's one of the better betting strategies, is when you say there's no way that's going to keep up. That's pretty positive EV.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's my best betting strategy. Is whatever I think, I just go the opposite, and then I do okay.
There's simply no way this is whatever's happening is gonna keep up.
One of my favorite ways to bet on sports, which is very popular in the content creation space, is to have your pet do it. I love the idea of just letting my dog pick NFL sides. In fact, maybe that's what we'll do for the NFL season.
I like it. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. Joining us now is the king of Nrfi. If you follow this man on Twitter, if you watch his work, you're well aware that nobody tracks the Yrfi and or the Nrfi quite like our next guest, Jared Smith. Jared, what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. That's quite the introduction.
Yeah, sure is. I spent a lot of time on it, so I appreciate you saying that.
I did not get that type of intro, if that makes you feel better.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
I mean, we did a Battle Bets Royale yesterday, and I spent real time on it, and it had some real flair to it. So
okay.
I that meant nothing to you, I understand. But we are thrilled to have you on. We are 0-3. Well, let me rephrase. I'm 0-3.
Oh no.
I jumped on 3 straight Yrfis, and none of them have cashed. So we've got 2 more left in the slate. We've got Padres, Blue Jays, we've got White Sox, and Mets. So let me ask you, Jared, what side you're on for either of those?
So I'm actually on the Nrfi and the Padres Blue Jays game. I got it at plus money last night. The way that I usually go through my process is I'll do my sheet, my little, projected edge sheet, usually the night before, very early in the morning. If there's night games on a day like today where there's just a bunch of day games, I tend to do it the night before. And then if I see anything early that looks good, there's one market that's available to me that actually posts overnights for these. But for the most part, I bet a lot of them morning of. But this was one of the ones I saw plus money last night. I did not think it would close at plus money, and at least at the spot that I track at, which is offshore, it's minus 109 right now. So I feel good about that bet. And again, once the game starts, I mean, this is the most random bet in baseball. And it might be the most random bet in all of sports. So the sharpness of the handicap really ends once the game starts. And then at that point, you just pray to the baseball gods that some fluky lightning bolt doesn't strike your outfielder when he's trying to catch the ball, and et cetera, et cetera. I've lost and won bets on the first pitch of the game. Home run. Kyle Schwarber's burned me twice. Yeah. The other day, Christian Yelich won one for me on the first pitch of the game. It's nuts. They're absolutely crazy. I think if you look too scientific at it, you'll drive yourself nuts. My process every night takes between about 30 minutes and an hour. And then at that point, I try to remove all handicapping from it and just let the emotion of the day just kind of guide me, because there's really only so much sharpness you could put into these before, you just have to pray.
Yeah. So much of this is chalked up to volatility. Yeah. And who knows exactly what happens. So, Jared, it's your first time on any sort of sport trade show. So thanks for hopping on. We'll kind of explain a little bit what the market here looks like. I don't know if it's your first time seeing the app. We were able to lock this in at plus 104 not that long ago. So a lot of value there on the Nrfi, which is really the only reason why I played it. The Yrfi here is minus 117. So when we go back into the market, we'll be able to look and see both sides there. Now, we use implied probability and we use American odds, so you have a chance to kind of look at both. You could see the over, the Yrfi, 53.5 is minus 117. That's just a percentage. And a 49.5% chance, even money, right? Plus 100 now. But again, we got it at, as I mentioned.
So it moves pretty consistently.
It will. You'll definitely see it. I'll keep it up.
It moves a lot more than a sports book would.
Yes. Yes. So our market maker is constantly updating it. And now typically for like a money line, a spread or total, right? There are opportunities to buy and sell at a really tight spread. Sometimes it's $1.50. Sometimes it's $1. Sometimes it's even 50-cent spread, right? So your cash out equity is actually like 97% of what it actually is worth, as opposed to, in other places. So in other bets, it may actually make sense to do that. I don't really subscribe to that with Yrfi Nrfi. Like, it's so fast. Probably not worth entertaining any sort of cash out.
Totally.
So that's kind of where we are. But you will see the price fluctuation, which is pretty crazy. Matt and I were talking just before you came on. If there's a double that may be worth $25 on a 0 to 100 probability.
Well, yeah, I would say each out. Like I'm trying to calculate the probabilities in my head.
Yeah.
As they're happening with each out. I would say each out, considering you only get 6 of them, is worth at least 15 to 20% of your equity minimum.
Yeah.
I think if it's a situation neutral, like no out double, obviously that would be worth more than a 2 out double. But I can't imagine I can't imagine any scenario besides bases loaded, nobody out, they stop the game to go meet with the pitcher, where I would consider cashing out.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the only situation where I would even consider cashing out. Like, let's say I had a yes run first inning, and it was top of the first, bases loaded, nobody out. I think, or second and third, nobody out. Really, I think would be the best situation. You would probably get, I would say that's like a 99% chance of that bet hitting at that point. Like maybe just to avoid that 1%, but I don't know. I would just probably let it ride.
So the only time I've ever cashed out of a Nrfi or Yrfi was actually yesterday. And it was within the context of this. Well, I'll explain the context. It was within the context of this battle bets thing that we did. So we had an hour to live bet anything going on. We had 4 bettors, each had $1,000. And every 20 minutes, we eliminated whoever made the least amount of money. Or in some cases, whoever lost the most amount of money if nobody actually made money. So in one of the cases, my bet was worth 95% of its full value with 2 outs. And I think like obviously the third hitter, and I can't remember what game it was. The third hitter, presumably the best hitter of a lineup, was up. So I had already gotten through 5 outs. I needed to lock in some profit so I would advance to the next little round of our tournament. So that was the only time I ever did it. If it were a straight bet and I was sitting on my couch, then obviously I'm not touching it.
Yeah, you're trying to be a little more tactical.
Sure.
Because of the situation. I don't hate it. I think the advice that I offer to most people that like to bet this is just lower your risk, make it, 1 to 2 units. These should not be 5, 10 unit bangers.
Yeah.
And they should be more geared. Like I actually like parlaying these for a couple of reasons. One, they're super random. Yeah. You win 5 in a row, you lose 5 in a row. Like that happens to me every week, where I will lose 4 in a row and then I will win 4 in a row, like consecutively. So I think the randomness of the bet actually makes for parlays a little more entertaining. And then the second reason is because of the duration of the bet, you could stagger an entire day. And I did this yesterday or 2 days ago, where you make 6 to 8 wagers, but they all start at different times. So you have like an hour most times before the next window starts. If you can get the parlay just to the last window, you have time to then, to your point, not hedge out of it, but make an additional wager that guarantees profit. So it's not often that a day's worth of betting is in such a small window that you could kind of space it out like that. And it makes parlays a little more viable, I think. I know, they're square bets, blah, blah, blah. Sure, they are. You're going to lose more than you're going to win. But I think with this particular bet, again, the duration, I think, gives you an opportunity to make parlays slightly more valuable.
So do you play every single MLB game and have a play on Nrfi or Yrfi, or do you pick and choose your favorites?
I would say I play between around average of 5 per day. Okay. Sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 2. It's always something. There's always an outlier to my sheet every day. And again, the randomness of baseball makes it to where I don't care as much about the daily results. I care about the weekly and the monthly results more.
Yeah. Right.
And that's a hard thing for a lot of handicappers to grasp. It's not something I'd recommend for someone that's just starting out. 5 to 10 plays a day is a lot. I would say pick your favorite one, or do a parlay of 5 per day. And then once you get the grasp of, all right, if I bet 5, I have to be prepared to go on 5. And then once that happens, and then your initial reaction after that is not to just shove 10 units on the next bet.
Right.
All right, then you graduated to a mental state where you could bet 5 per day. But it's betting 5, like if you bet like 8, like I had days where I bet like 8 or 9. Betting 8, 9 games, and let's say you lose 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah,
like, you feel like you want to jump off of a bridge.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're the worst handicapper ever. And I'm just waiting for like the fraud emails to come and tweets. But you just have to realize that there's 2,430 games. Like even if you go 0-8, like it just doesn't scratch the surface of the sample that is baseball. So I think that's the hardest thing for our generation, younger generation of bettors to grasp with baseball is 0-5 might sound awful, but it's really not. It's a drop in the bucket. So you just have to train your brain to be that way with the sport.
It feels like since PASPA and everything, there's just so much content going around. But it does feel like
you have to win every bet or else you're a fraud. That's kind of the vibe I feel.
Whatever. But it just feels like the further we get away from PASPA, right, the more educated everybody gets. Yes. Presumably. And then the more people start to understand. So like we do something here called MLBI. It's like the MLBI index. And that is literally if you were to buy, so like this 48.5 in your screen, we call a share price, right? Kind of keeping with the stock analogy. So you could bet $100, you could bet $1,000 if you wanted to. But if you wanted to make it simple and just buy like one share of the Phillies or whatever, or one share of the Nrfi, you could do that. So we actually track moneyline performance based upon that for every single MLB team. And to your point, you could lose 5 in a row. But what teams are the most profitable over time, right? So we're seeing teams that just beat market expectation, returning $600, $700, $800 on the year with an ROI of like 16.5% in our latest update. So we did this where I bet the top 5 teams in that metric every single night for a month, and we returned 8.2%.
Yep.
If you wouldn't take that every single month of every single year that you were betting on sports, you're crazy.
The issue, though, and Dan, you're 100% right. The issue is, though, at the first 0-5, and I'm sure it happens, people will stop that strategy.
Sure, of course.
You have to be consistent. If you're going to do one of the trends of trends, like you have to do it every day, and you have to be unbelievably, unwaveringly consistent at it, or else that trend is worthless.
Right.
So the Marlins to me is the best example. And even I'm not 100% with the Marlins, but I would say if the Marlins play, let's say 6 games a week, I probably bet the Marlins Nrfi at least 4 to 5 days per week. Now I change the unit size. Sometimes it's 2 units, sometimes it's 1, but I am on that bet. It's a 65% wager over a 90-game sample, and It's only being priced at -120, the average price, which is 55%. So there is value every day on that bet. It's just a matter of situation.
Right.
Certain situations, I maybe get scared on a bullpen day or whatever. The offense that they're facing on the other side, their pitcher is not, or the team they're facing, their pitcher is not up to snuff. So sometimes I waver from it, and that even makes the Marlins trend, which is a great Nrfi trend, kind of moot, and it's still a situational, spot for me. But if you're going to do that every night, you're going to pick the Braves and the Reds and the teams that score a bunch of runs in the first inning. You have to do it every day, no matter what, rain or shine.
Now, some protection built into that metric is that we update it every week. So the top 5 is moving.
Okay.
So a team like the Marlins, who I think have lost, 6 straight, presumably might move out of that top 5. And then you're betting on a team that's hot. So like because of the movement, you're going back and forth. That's
a great way to put it. That's a good way to put it. And the metrics change it, and how you kind of structure that. Like some people would only rather do the number 1 team every night. And if that's the case, then you're betting on the Braves, Yrfi, and the Marlins Nrfi every single night. And I think that's an okay strategy, because I think over time, as long as you do it all 162 games, I think you're gonna win.
We wouldn't recommend blind betting, but the theory there is good team beats bad team more often than not, and you'll be profitable. Obviously, depends on price. But we are underway in Toronto. A 2-2 count to Fernando Tatis Jr. here. And I think, as you mentioned, we're on the Nrfi. So Daddy could use a win.
I could do well. Everything's been, and listen, this is part of the situation.
Oh boy. Sorry. I don't know if you just saw that.
I didn't see any.
Did he hit a home run?
Tatis fly ball to right center. The center fielder and the right fielder call each other off and run into each other, but they do record an out. So we're up. So Jared, so that was
that
worth
one was
$8.50.
that one was a little scary.
Yeah. So that's the
part. That's the thing about these bets is that you just never know. Is my dog's going to make an appearance on the stream here?
That's right. Matt's has been talking repeatedly. I wish my dog were here.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to hop.
Yep. Matt,
it's good to meet you, Jared.
Us. It's good to meet you too, but this guy's being a brat right now. I think he wants to go outside. He probably just saw he just saw that fly out in Toronto, and he's not happy. So I think this is a good thing because like today every game's been Nrfi. It's 3-0 to the Nrfi, and obviously based on what that price just did, going up $16. Obviously Soto's probably out too, and that's the part about this. It's a getaway day. These are all day games. You've got ace pitchers on the mound. You've got Blake Snell. You've got Strider. You've got Gallen. You had Taijuan Walker, Corbin Burns. I mean, these are all aces on their respective staffs for the most part. It doesn't surprise me that we're 4-0 to the Nrfi. Now, depending on how you view these bets, man, oh man, everyone's going to want to bet Yrfi later. But it's also a short slate today, so it's probably hard to take the full sample anyways at face value. But I think situations matter. Like I'm probably going to bet this Nrfi in KC and Detroit in about an hour because A, it looks like it's a Nrfi getaway day today. That just looks like the vibe. And B, I like the Grinky numbers at home, and Michael Lorenzen's coming off a tough start against Colorado. You know,
what else
at altitude there, so hopefully he's a little better. And I like the idea of fading, two bad offenses, especially on a getaway day. So I think when you look at this market, it's very trend driven. Like you get a vibe every day. Like it's looking like a Nrfi day. Let's see if we can find some value with some of these. So I wish a lot of it was a little more scientific than that. But Dan, sometimes it's just the vibe of the day kind of takes control.
A lot of the Yrfi picks on my part were simply just looking at first inning numbers and how guys what form they're in. Didn't work today, but like you said, you chalk it up to some randomness.
I think the day games today. I was on the Yrfi in those two early games too, and it didn't work out. I thought we deserved better in the San Francisco Cincinnati game. It looked like Koob had a little bit of control issue early, walks De La Cruz, and then he gets the caught
thrown
stealing
out immediately.
Yeah, and then if he steals second base, it's runner at second, nobody out, ground ball to the right side. Wilmer Flores makes a great play, but De La Cruz is at third with one out. And then the next guy walked, and then the next guy flew out to right. There's your sac fly, and there's your win right there. So it's honestly just as much as hey, sit.
Good boy.
He is biting the hell out of me right now. I don't want to cause any problems. Yes, I know, buddy. I know. Let me just let him out really quick.
Yeah, go for it. Come on, we are up $22 here on the Padres and the Blue Jays. We have the Nrfi that is now going to the bottom of the first. I was trying to say Jose Quintana pitching for the first time this year for the Mets, going up against the White Sox. Tim Anderson on first there. We are on the Yrfi there. So no movement in the pricing. But just talking about Quintana's first start this year after coming back from surgery to remove a lesion from his ribs. But he's back. Tim Anderson on first. So we haven't seen any movement in that market there. But we are going to the bottom of the first in the Blue Jays and the Padres. We're both on the Nrfi. I have it up plus 104. We're up $22 there. I'll run quickly, Jared, through my thought processes here for the Sox and Mets.
Sure.
I'm on the Yrfi minus 115. Don't love the price, but that's okay. The Nrfi and Sport Trade was plus 100. Like I mentioned, Quintana's first start of the season, going up against Benintendi, Anderson, Lewis, Robert Jr., so left, right. Another base hit, so things looking good as we forecasted here. Had no idea what Quintana was going to do. He's given up 2 singles here in the first 2 at-bats.
I think that's the tough part with guys making first starts. I usually, like, say, for instance, a guy like Quintana or another starter, like a Justin Verlander that has a massive sample, but we haven't started this year. I always remove them from I don't even bet those games. I don't think it makes any sense unless you have a really good read on someone's minor league rehab to make a wager on someone's first start. I think these bets are better done in sequence. You've seen what a guy's done for the last 2 or 3 or 4 starts, and then you make a move based off of that. Because I do think the first inning is a repeatable handicap. Certain guys struggle in these spots.
Sure.
Certain guys do well. Certain offenses struggle in these spots. Certain teams do well. And it's just tough. This guy, I'm sorry, man. This guy's being jackpot.
We're very pro dog. What's your dog?
I know. I'm pro dog too, but he's being such a brat right now. I think betting on Quintana today, anything but a yes, would have been a mistake. Or just betting on a White Sox yes, I think would have been an interesting wager at 2-1.
So if you see here, Sox and Mets trading has been halted, which means our game state data is within 3 seconds of it happening in real time. So we may be celebrating our first win here right now.
Congratulations. I hope we're celebrating another one a little bit. Blake Snell hasn't given up a run in like 21 consecutive innings. I would be really upset if this was the break.
I know.
There it is. The streak right here.
There it is. Broke the streak. 3 straight singles scores Anderson from third. Just like that, we're back in the game. 1-3 today, baby.
Congrats, bud.
Thank you. Feels great.
Just keep plugging away. These are fun bets, and I think you'll enjoy. Oh boy, we're starting to see some action here in this Blue Jays game. My guess is someone's on base. Springer got on probably.
Looks like a 3-2. So they probably walked him. We're still up 10-50 here. So here's where it gets interesting, right? Like we say we would never cash out of a bet, but now
I would never cash out.
You're staring at it right in the face. Take your
because the odds of just think about it, like even in a situation neutral, like even if he walked someone and it goes to 40, like I don't know if the Blue Jays odds of getting a run are 40. No, down. I don't know if they're 40%. I honestly don't. And right now it's saying 43%. I would say runner at first. No, down. Sit. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to hop off in a minute to deal with him because he's being
all good. No worries.
He's being really rough right now. I would say maybe. All right. Can I just hop off and deal with him for a couple minutes, bud?
Go for it. Go for it. Jared Smith, thanks for joining us, man. Much appreciated. We'll talk soon. All right. So Jared's dealing with some dog stuff. No worries. Again, very pro dog on the show. Let me adjust the screen here. We're almost done, actually. We've got a double play. We are coasting towards a 2-3 day. You can see it on your screen here. We're up 41.50 on the Nrfi between the Padres and the Toronto Blue Jays. Blake Snell induces a double play after walking George Springer. So we're just 1 out away from going 2-3. It's been a fun broadcast. We've been going for an hour. We had Jared Smith. We had Matt Modai on. Hopefully we go 2-3. That would be good. That would not make us profitable, but at least we would be not nearly losing as much, which is great. So we'll see what happens here. But we're down to the final Yrfi Nrfi of the broadcast, and then we will hop off, say goodbye. Meanwhile, oh man, barely got him. I mean, the Mets looks like they're going to give up a ton of runs here in the first inning. 2-0 count here to Vlad Jr. 2 outs. So the only thing that could sink us right now is a home run from Vlad Jr. 3-0. Wow. Ump is squeezing him hard. Oh, we got him back. He's back.
Yeah, no, I just gave him a bone. He was just being really unruly, and usually after I do a show, he wants attention, and he wasn't getting enough of it, I guess. But
hey, don't we all? We're an out away, Jared, from getting this Nrfi.
So here's what I've learned with these: 2 outs, base is empty. You're not safe. You are not. If you think you are safe, you are not safe.
Well, hey, we
can never save
86.5% of our value right now if we wanted to. Vlad Guerrero just walked.
See, like that's the thing about this: 2 outs, base is empty, and you were only getting 10%. 2 outs, base is empty. There is no way the true odds of someone scoring a run there is 10%. It's probably closer to 5. Really, it's probably below that. Because the odds of hitting a home run in any particular at bat's like less than 1%. So you need to string together multiple hits. That's where I think cashing out doesn't make any sense in this market. Now, I know that you guys are obviously charging a little bit to pay for it, and I think the live nature of the market makes it a little more expensive too to buy into it. But my advice for people here unless you have a parlay tied to it, and it is a parlay where it's significantly higher payout. Like for me, it was 44-1 Tuesday night. I had a parlay tied to the last leg at 44-1. Yeah. And I took like 15-20% of it and I locked in some profit.
Sure.
But besides that, just let these play out. I mean, these are these bets can change in one pitch. The probabilities can change so quickly that I think it's a tough ask to buy out of it because of the quick nature of it. You know,
of course, yeah.
In a longer bet, I absolutely would. In a 9-inning bet, but in a 1-inning, just let it ride.
Yeah, so the market just went away. It'll come back shortly. But you saw what we call the spread there, right? Just like in a financial market. I think the sell was 92.5, the buy was 95. So
it was pretty good.
Yeah, so the midpoint of that, right, 94.5, is basically what the market maker thinks is the true price, what that is at that time. So you tend to disagree. Totally fine, right? You think it's more about 95. They saw it about like 94
I would say
5.
2 outs, bases empty. I would say your chances of scoring a run, maybe. Oh, that's why the market went dead. They challenged this. I think Vlad was out. Vlad was a little nonchalant here.
He was leaning.
I think we're leaning for sure on this play right here.
Yeah. Now we just saw this in the Phillies game too. The same exact thing happened. They went to the booth after a pickoff attempt to first. Guy was ruled safe. They go to the booth and he was ruled out, which didn't help my Yrfi. But
no, I think this is I think Vlad's out, but hopefully I think he's out. They're showing the screenshot right there, and you see the
we're gonna win.
Yeah, you're seeing the Padres start to like slowly meander their way off the field towards the dugout, like just a slow walk. I mean, don't get me wrong. Vlad's he's definitely out.
He's out.
Vlad's kicks look hot. Yep, he's out. All right, so we hit that one.
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't have any. I'm sure whoever your odds maker is and whoever the odds maker is that do this, you know. But in my mind, I would stay about 97%. 2 out, spaces empty.
Sure.
Because I think the odds of a home run are less than 3% for sure. So in that situation, I don't know how it could be much more than that. But I guess 95 makes sense. Like I'm not going to squabble or haggle over 1 or 2% here. 95 makes sense. Let's just leave it at this. If I lose a Nrfi when it's 2 out, spaces empty, bottom first, I'm really mad. I'm very mad.
Yeah, we had a situation like that where Strider gave up a bomb with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Not
all the time.
Ago. It's a fun stream, right? Because you hop on, you either win or you lose, and then you kind of hop off. Should we talk about Verizon Fios TV? Should we talk about it?
Sure.
We could talk about it.
You got to pay the bills, bud.
I don't know if you remember this. We almost worked together at Fios TV in Rye, New York.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Way back when you left to go to, I think, Picks, right? And then
I went.
filled in
No.
News
12
was in there.
12.
12. Sorry.
Yeah. And then you took that, and then you got that job. And then were you there when Fios got the axe?
So I only filled in until they hired Justin Walters. So I filled in on a freelance basis, worked there for like 2 weeks, and I was like, nope, we're good. Yeah. And then
listen, everyone does things that they have to do to start their career.
Well, hey, that was like my third job. I just did it because
it was my like third job too, but it was my first job in a big market. Like it was my first job really covering major sports. Super grateful for the opportunity, but that was a tough gig. Local news is a tough gig, but I respect anyone that comes through it and lives to tell the tale.
There's nothing like driving your own car 2 hours to Long Island to cover a story and be back for the 5 o'clock news.
To cover a high school game.
Yeah. The local news thing is a real grind. We've got you here, Jared. So before we say see you later, and thank you for coming on, the Open's on right now. Are you a golf guy at all?
Yeah, I do have a little bit on Fleetwood at 30-1, so I'm feeling good about that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I got Fleetwood. See that? So I'll be honest, golf, unlike Nrfi's, I would be very interested in seeing what my cash out on Fleetwood would be.
So right now it's at plus 578, which is the equivalent of 13%. You said you got him at 30-1?
20, yeah, plus 29.50. I have $100 on it to win almost $3,000. So
okay, 29.50.
I'd probably get like a $500 cash out right now. I would let it ride.
We'll call it we'll call it like 3%. So you went from 3% to 13%. So you've 10x your money.
Yeah.
Pretty
so
good.
Probably about maybe $1,000. Wow. Maybe if I was given $1,000 offer for that ticket, for that $100 ticket right now, I might consider it.
Okay. And then you
but
can put
I
it on
also
a
have.
check
Here's the thing. This is how I bet golf. I also have a top 20 on Fleetwood at plus money. So to me, that's like paying for the outright. Like It's like a free roll on the outright if he finishes in the top 20. So I would probably just let it ride anyways.
That's true. That's the fun of that's the fun of tournament or golf betting here on the app. I know you're in Vegas. We are coming to Colorado next month in time for football season. So if you find yourself in Denver, hit us up, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I know it was early. I know you had another show, but let's.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the dog's appearances. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a distraction.
Not a problem whatsoever. Again, if my chocolate lab were here, she'd be on my lap too. So
yeah, he's a good boy. He just gets a little bit, he gets a little excited sometimes.
Understood, brother. Well, thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Have a good one, pal.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We went 2 and 3 on the Yrfi and the Nrfis. Not quite profitable, but we live to bet another day.